Welcome to an emergency episode of Arakko Public Radio. Marvel's made an announcement and we decided it couldn't wait for the next regularly scheduled episode, so we've gathered our great ring. I'm Rod. Below me is the co-mega mutant of podcasting, Keegan. Dead center is our senior mutant historian, Joe of X. Straight across from me, we have the future co-host when Keegan gets tired of me, Owen, aka The Broken Record. And below him, the only guy with over 10,000 TikTok followers who returns my calls, Uncanny Ken. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Once again, I am here to defend the broken lands. I am Arakko.
For the third year in a row, Marvel's having a fan vote to decide one member of the new lineup. As with the last 2 years, whole new teams taking over at this year's Hellfire Gala. And we get to pick one, guys. It's us. We get to pick. Ballot hasn't been revealed, so we are all getting together and going to discuss our individual top 10 picks that we'd have on that ballot if we could. And to do that, we've invited back every human being who has ever been on the show. I'm calling this the other than soft serve list because I know deep down she'd be everyone's number one pick. But do we have any volunteers?
I hate soft serve so much. I hate that joke.
We are going for a 15-minute episode, so we won't have this brawl now, but someday you and I are fighting over this. Who wants to go first? Anybody volunteer?
I'll go first.
Hit us with it, Keegan.
Right.
Number 3, Omega Red. Why not? They just brought him into X-Force. He is of Krakoa. As my grandpa would say, he's tougher than a nickel steak. Let's see what he can do.
We saw him wearing the costume. Didn't even consider him. Very cool.
I didn't even consider Omega Red, so that's a good one.
I'll be honest, I didn't have anyone super traditional villain on my list, and that was a good route to go.
That actually segues relatively well into my first one, because I also went for a villain.
Let's hear it.
So on the ballot last year, they had Avalanche. And though I'm not too fond of Avalanche, I thought that was a really interesting idea to have someone from the Brotherhood. So I went for a mutant who appeared in like a single issue of a Rogue comic in 2005 called Blind Spot. Who has the mutation of memory absorption and memory distribution.
I love that idea.
That's cool. I like that a lot.
I also loved Joe's visceral reaction to clearly he wanted to defend Avalanche's honor there.
I did notice that.
He's the bear to the twink that is Pyro. Don't hurt that big, beautiful man. Like, what are you doing? Like, Avalanche is necessary.
Okay, but Owen, hit me with that name one more time, because I'm definitely Googling after we get out of here some more background.
Blind Spot.
Okay. Yeah, Blind Spot. I gotta know more. That sounds fun. Well, Joe, since you're clearly angry, give us your number 3.
I'm hot. Number 3, I'm going with... I'm going to say that this was originally my number 2, but I don't want anyone to say it first, so I'm bumping them to number 3. I'm putting North Star, Jean-Paul Barbier, and this one, if the Witch of Jotunheim or Franklin's Herald is listening, yeah, this one's for you, because X Factor went, and I loved X Factor, right? I talk about this on the Arakko Public Radio Discord, which is available to every listener.
Link will be in the show notes.
But X Factor is gone. Weirdly, everyone else has moved on. I don't know if X Factor is still a thing on Krakoa because they still serve a function. They just don't talk about them anymore. But it's weird, right? But anyway, North Star he has the power, for anyone who might be unfamiliar, he has the power of flight and super speed. He is a former Quebecois separatist terrorist who was on Alpha Flight for many years, and then he was the leader of X Factor. And I think he needs something to do. He's a fascinating character, and he's really good.
I can make you happy, Joe. also my number 3, and I put specifically he would be higher, except my hope is he's already on the team, that he's not going to be on the ballot because they're just putting him on the team next, because Lauren has been pushing him to do it anyway, so I feel like there's been some hints anyways, but on my list as well.
So I knew I should have pushed him to 3. That was a good one. Yeah.
It's okay. You had better things to say about him anyways, but absolutely, if North Star is not on the ballot, he better be on the damn team, because he hasn't done anything in 2022, and I'm ready for more North Star.
He's such a bitch, and I love him. And it's like to Cyclops, like, can you imagine, like, Cyclops is like the square, like, I love Cyclops, but he is like very straightforward, and he's like, do this, and North Star is very much like, no, get fucked. That's a terrible idea.
I think the team would be amazing.
Live for that. Right?
All right, Ken, finish us off from our number 3s.
Alrighty, kind of segueing off of Joe about the character being a little bit of a bitch. I have Monet St. Croix as my number 3.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
Queen. She has she actually has a cult following on TikTok that I did not know about. I ran into it the other day. Deservingly so. I don't know a lot about the character. I really haven't read a lot of Generation X. So I think having her be on this team would be a good opportunity for a lot of new readers, especially in this era, hopping on in this new volume, new team, to learn a lot about her and get to know her as much as, everyone else does.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love all of these choices so far.
Well, Keegan, keep that bar high. What's your number 2, my friend?
My number 2, and also I do want to say North Star would be my number 4 if we were doing more. I pushed North Star out because the rest of my list is Leah Williams heavy right now, because my number 2 would be Prodigy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I kind of going off of the idea of like Sync being able to distribute powers, him being able to distribute, borrow knowledge and skill. I think Prodigy would be a great addition, and he's also like a good leader. So
I love it. Who was Owen second?
Yeah.
So my next one, I think a certain someone here, if a TikTok that I saw this evening is to be believed. My next one is, I have to make sure I pronounce this right, Hisako Ishiki, aka Armor. Armor has been on the ballot for the past 2 years. And has never won. And quite frankly, that is a felony. That is a crime.
that is a crime. It is disrespectful.
Exactly.
Wasn't on my 3, but I did have a special note to bring up the fact that it's a crime that was on the ballot both years and has not gotten any love. So hopefully, again, maybe editorial realize not getting the votes and we'll just put him on the new lineup anyways. Because awesome. Joe, go ahead.
For number 2, you know what? I was originally going to say Dazzler, but I felt like, because I love Dazzler, anything with Dazzler in it, Dazzler is always a choice. But you know what? I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into this one. I'm going to say Miss Marvel. Hear me out. They're going to try eventually to do MCU synergy, and they're also going to bury the Inhumans because the Inhumans fucking suck. So, sorry, Ken. I love you. I love you.
I literally in my head, I was like, no way he just say that. No.
But they're not great.
Joe is just picking fights tonight.
I am. Come find me in this fucking coffin I live in Pennsylvania. But I think there will be an attempt to do that MCU synergy, and they did put out a book, right? They did put out a book of Miss Marvel joins the X-Men, right? It was the one-shot goofy thing, but I think they might eventually mutant her up and bring her in. So if not Dazzler, which is my true heart's pick, but cynically I'm gonna say Miss Marvel to throw a wrench in everything.
Okay, I like it.
All right, number 2, I have Danny Moonstar. This is all going back to one of my favorite runs, the New Mutants Zeb Wells run. She's not unfamiliar with Cyclops. They have a really cool relationship in that series, and I think that being touched on again in this new Krakoa era would be really nice to see. Also, she needs to have this popularity boost. Let's give her the magic treatment.
Yeah.
She is one of my absolute top 5 mutant favorite characters ever
Mhm.
is Danny Moonstar. I love her to death. Wish
I think in my heart of hearts, I'm more hoping we get a New Mutants relaunch coming out of Fall of X that will be very Danny centric. But if not, I will take her on the X-Men team as well. That works for me.
Agreed.
My number 2, I went Phantom X. Joe, as our historian, can correct me. I think since Krakoa became a thing, we've gotten the giant whatever they call them, the one shot about him, and that's all I remember us really seeing of Phantom X in the era of Krakoa, and I want more of my boy, so I went with Phantom X.
Yeah,
Good choice.
I think that's an underutilized character.
Yeah.
Well, and I think part of that is I think they're still drawing Xavier to look like him from when he got his body, so
when he was just X.
yeah.
God, that was awful.
Yeah.
That was so bad.
I had forgotten about that, so
Oh.
thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
They did a good job kind of lampshading it when they brought him back for the giant one size. All right, we are down to everyone's like top
pick.
These should be good. Hit me with it,
All right.
Keegan.
So I believe I want to say that I saw a TikTok from one of y'all mentioning my number 1 pick as well. I want Boom Boom.
Please.
Need
Boom
I
Boom.
say more? I want Boom Boom.
Completely understandable.
Yes,
We're a group of people
Yep.
who all love Boom Boom.
exactly.
Yes.
Listen to any episode where I've talked about exterminators.
Bomb Squad, rise up, man! Like,
Yes.
I guess we technically don't know that Dugan is writing the next volume. Maybe Fall of X and the next team switches writers, and I would love Leah Williams writing a Boom Boom centric.
I didn't even think about that part of it, but I want it now.
You mentioned it. You mentioned you were going Leah Williams heavy, so now that's where my heart is.
I mean, okay, so I was thinking North Star, I was thinking Prodigy, I was thinking iBoy, I was thinking Boom.
you just want X Factor back, which is
Yeah,
understandable.
literally.
I also would
Yes,
like
if
X
I
Factor
could
to
get
come back.
X Factor back, I would.
Someday. Everything comes back around eventually for us. All right, Owen.
So, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Are they my favorite mutant? Absolutely. So my final pick is Eden Fessy, aka Manifold.
Very nice choice.
That's a fine choice. Yeah.
I love Manifold. They are the arc that the Manifold has had over the last few years is phenomenal, and I really think that if they were to include him on a mainline X-Men team, then we could get just a phenomenal continuation of his story.
I love that one. I didn't even cross my mind, but I love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joe,
Give me a drum roll. Give me a drum roll. I want a drum roll.
I'm expecting something obscure or insane. So the bar is high, sir.
The Goblin Queen.
Whoa.
So
no.
Yes. So this is my pitch for Maddie Pryor.
Wait. Before you go further, we need to clarify for Keegan. Do you mean the Goblin Queen or the Queen Goblin?
Queen Goblin? No, just the Goblin Queen. Madeline Pryor deserves the redemption arc. What we see from Madeline Pryor here is that she had this failed redemption arc because she seeks community, right? She seeks this community, but she can't seek it through Krakoa because who she feels are her abusers sit on the ring, right? The Quiet Council. So she's attempting to build her own community, but she's still all messed up and traumatized and fucked up that she can't do it correctly, and she just is lashing out. So I think that Havoc and the rest of the Summerses are going to say, one, we need to keep an eye on her, and two, having her work closely with the public to make up for the wrongs she's did will ultimately be rehabilitative for her. I think the Goblin Queen should be on the X-Men.
in this
Interesting.
hypothetical, this insane hypothetical, but in this hypothetical, would Gene take a step back, or are they coexisting?
No, I want them to exist on the same team. I want them to have to deal with each other because the drama is too good, and they are sisters, right? Call them clones, but what they are sisters, and I think that repairing that relationship and them learning how to deal with one another, much in the same way that in a quite a similar way that Jean had to learn how to deal with Rachel's existence. Jean initially went very negative against Rachel, was an asshole to Rachel, had to learn to cope with Rachel's existence. And I think these two could do that. And I think if we're getting a 12-issue run of the X-Men, that being an underlying story or even the main story is a phenomenal one. So the Goblin Queen, Madeline Pryor, always has my heart, and I can't pick anyone else other than her. So
love it. Insane. I love it.
All right. Number one, like Owen said, armor. I have a couple of sentences written down because I thought I was scared I was going to forget this.
No, go for it.
Arakko had the opportunity to become this generation's Katie Pride, and it seemed like they were really rooting for her in Astonishing X-Men, continuing to the end of that run. After that, on and off of Comic Limbo, where did she go? What happened to her? Stuck in these one-shots. Let's give her the respect she deserves. X-editorial, if you're listening to this, Armor deserves this. 2 times? You're kidding me, 2 times?
She's
Hell
the
yeah.
Susan Lucci of
yeah.
the X-Men vote for the older listeners out there.
Yeah.
I will say
she had my vote last year. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, are you? I voted for Firestar.
it's your fault.
Yeah, we're gonna fight.
So I voted twice, and I voted for Siren and I voted for Firestar. Those are mine. Because you could vote on Twitter and on Facebook, and they didn't let you. They didn't police it, so I'm like, oh, I'll vote twice. But I voted for Siren and Firestar.
I wonder if they're going to update what social media platforms they use this year. My number one, it's James Proudstar. It was kind of a toss-up between him and John, but at the end of the day, John is hopefully going to still be involved with whatever Cable's team is in Red, so I went James. I just want more Proudstar's in my comics. So if they're not going to put him on a team on their own, give us a chance to vote for him is my thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to see him on the team, but be terrified of airplanes like Mr. T in the A-Team. Like every time they have to fly anywhere, he's like, fuck that, no. And they have to like think of some way to get him on the plane. Like
that is 100% a running joke. On Dugan's level. Like that's the kind of thing Dugan would totally write in there too. Before we wrap up, all great choices, by the way. Thank you guys for gathering.
I love our ballot.
Yeah.
This was
A lot of surprising choices.
Hopefully, I'll send this directly to Marvel. Hopefully, they haven't finalized the ballots and they can add these people in there. So, how do we feel either of the last 2 winners either went or is going? I will say I was more negative on the role Firestar had played until the annual. I thought the annual was a great outing for her. What are you guys' feelings on either year?
I think that like it's interesting because with the first one, I feel like we really, really got to know that team, and it felt like we spent a lot of time with them. And then this year, it feels like it's been 1 issue and they're gone. I don't feel like I've spent any time with this team at all. So I'm not like too bothered that the time to vote has come again. But it's probably also the fact that I don't particularly like who won last year, because
Joe's throwing down.
We'll do it. Armor was robbed. I'm done.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got to say.
armor. I think we all are armor defenders here. I will say, I think it's interesting that first year's vote, you could tell Jerry Dugan wanted it to go a certain way with how he's since used Forge. I think Forge was the one they wanted to win that first ballot because
he got slaughtered. They kept up the vote. They kept up the vote percentage on the first one. They didn't tell us the second one. Forge.
I think they learned their lesson.
Nowhere near it. Yeah, I was so I'm an I was a big Leah Williams X Factor fan. So the first year I didn't care. I was like, oh, the Gifted. There was a big push from the Gifted fans to put her on that comic. There was a hashtag against Steam, and that was what it was. And there was a lot of people who rightfully thought this would spell the end of X Factor. I was a Sunspot guy on that one. I wanted to see.
I forgot Sunspot was on the first ballot. How did he not win? Who didn't vote for?
He got third place. So him and Sean Cassidy Banshee actually juggled for second. Right until the very end.
Yeah.
I wanted Sunspot because we had a Gene and Scott who play it very straight, and then Bobby, who's anything but, right? And he's so good, he's such a good comedic foil, and things work out for him in spite of himself, and that was a cool dynamic. So I was like, oh, hoping for that. But the second year was Firestar, right? And that was the year everyone was really mad because there was a big push for Monet. But I loved the New Warriors as a kid. I was a big New Warriors guy. So I'm like, Firestar is great. And she's a mutant. And there's a story there. The story with Firestar is that she was abused as a child by Emma Frost. She was emotionally manipulated and abused as a child. Her abuser is attractive and popular and loved by everybody. And so people shit on Firestar because her abuser is so much cooler than her. And I think there's a good story there about Emma Frost having to make reparations for abusing this woman when she was a child, even though other people don't hold her accountable because she's popular and pretty and cool. Justice for Mother Rum. like justice for this character who really got shit on. So I was a big I wanted that story. More than Monet or more than some of the other good characters on the thing, right? So,
well, we still have half a year for them to capitalize on that a little bit more. Like Owen said, it's felt like we haven't gotten to know the team as much as possible because we went from crossover to crossover to crossover. But we have half a year. We'll see what we get. Anyone have any final thoughts before we take off?
I think
I'm good. Justice for Armor.
Justice for Armor.
I'm on board.
Armor.
We're best friends now, Ken.
Yes.
This was really fun. We'll do this again sometime. Maybe when they announce the actual ballot, we'll get together and have a debate over who we should collectively vote for.
Well, I wish maybe I'll be able to get 1,000 TikTok followers by the time I'm close. I'm 897, right? I'm real getting there. So if I can get to that 1,000, I think we should do a live. When they release the results, right? And they start to release the day one results, and we'll get together and we can all just be do this newsroom thing.
Here we have Joe being the king of segues because he's already plugging. Let's go around. Anybody have anything they want to plug? Owen, you are the broken record on the TikTok. Anything else you'd like to plug?
I'm also the broken record on Twitter, where I sometimes tweet something funny. So follow me there.
I forget Twitter's a thing. I need to log in there more often. Ken, hit us with your plugs.
Uncanny Ken on TikTok is all you need to know. Go check me out.
You are on Insta though, right? I feel like I got you as suggested, and I don't.
I'm on Insta, or not, but it's solely selfies and personal stuff, so I haven't opened it up to the public.
Gotcha. Fair. Okay. Joe,
where
can we go to get you these 1,000 you deserve so badly?
I need 103 more people to follow me.
We will make that happen.
102, and I'm Joe of X on TikTok. I'm Joe Blauberg, which is my real government legal name on Twitter. That's all one word. And it's hard to spell, but not if you're German, so give it a crack.
Keegan, Bull Granger
on the TikTok and on the Twitter. Twitter is mostly where I'm talking about Saints Row right now. So if you want to hear my unveiled opinions about that, But other than that, that's it.
I'm that nerdy Papa Bear, and the Discord server. That is where I organized this get together. And come let us know if you want to jump on sometime. We're always open to new voices on the show. And just come in and hang out with us. It's a fun time. So far, I've mostly gotten into bickering matches and shared
shout out.
sneak peeks of the...
Shout out to Ass Crasher, right?
Hey, buddy.
Shout out to Ass Crasher. Love the fella. Hate the name.
Oh no.
It's okay.
I jinxed it.
Oh my god, that thing is so cool.
Yeah.
How much did that
That's
cost?
cool.
I told you, it's my child. It's my baby.
Oh god.
What's he
it's
called?
So...
Well, I don't know. We should name him.
We
He
should
doesn't have a
name
name.
him.
Oh,
So if we have
God.
any names, throw them out there.
I have no idea what we could name a
But he
murder
does light
bot.
up. I think.
Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Cornelius, right?
I was
Okay.
going to suggest Keegan Jr., so...
It could be Cornelius Keegan Jr.
Oh,
There you
Oh,
go.
that is good.